I cannot criticize my parents for hoping I would never experience poverty. They had been born poor themselves, and I have since been poor. I quite agree with them that it is not an ennobling experience. Poverty entails fear and stress and sometimes depression. It means 1,000 petty humiliations and hardships. Climbing out of poverty by your own efforts, that's something on which to pride yourself. But poverty itself is romanticized only by fools. J.K. Rowling, as she was speaking to a group of students at Harvard. My parents sacrificed and gave their only son everything they had in hopes that he would live a better life. Showed me how to sidestep racial condemnation in a segregated South, survive and thrive with the insidious disease of poverty, taught me to believe and accept that I was special no matter what this world said about me, told me that I could be whatever I wanted to be if I believed in myself and trusted in a mighty God. The poet, in memory, wrote, "In our sleep, pain which cannot forget falls drop by drop upon the heart, until in our own despair against our will comes wisdom through the awful grace of God." If I had a chance to live my life again with one caveat, that I could do it without Denise, I would choose not to do it again. In recognition of my greatest gift, Denise, the poet Nikki Giovanni wrote, "Some people forget that love is tucking you in and kissing you goodnight, no matter how young or old you are. Some people don't remember that love is listening and laughing and asking questions no matter what your age. Few recognize that love is commitment, responsibility, no fun at all, unless love is you and me." To my children, grandchildren, and son-in-law, you inspire me with your ability to see and appreciate the world in all its glory. To everyone on the stage, to each and every one of you, I simply don't have time to thank you for what you've done and what you've said today. Thank you all, each and every one of you out there, for sharing in this moment with me. A special thanks to the symphonic band and to this choir, an amazing choir. They worked on this. They wouldn't tell me. They wouldn't let me hear it. They were so mean to me. Every time I asked, I said, "How's the song coming?" "Fine." And that's all we're gonna say. I ran it, so thank you so much. That was awe-inspiring. Thank you so very much, each and every one of you. And lastly, before I begin my remarks, I want to take this moment to thank someone whose love and support of the UNC system of higher education is simply off the charts. Someone who understands that each and every one of the campuses is important, and that's what makes this system the greatest in the world. The strong leadership, commitment to inclusion and diversity, high standards of excellence and professionalism will be missed by me personally, but certainly by all of those whose lives have been touched by his presence. Everyone, please join me in saluting Tom Ross, President of the UNC System of Higher Education. The founder of this great university possessed an audacious vision for education. He established an institution where every student would meet the challenges of the day, equipped with an education designed to intellectually prepare the head, the hand, and the heart. In 1892, the conversation of the day centered on what kind of education was most appropriate for recently freed slaves. When some of the most powerful in the state openly questioned the value of liberal education for all the people, for the people's benefit, and for the safety of this state, Atkins held steadfast to his humanistic philosophy of education and never hid his ambition to convert Slater into a college of higher education. with a curriculum that resembled that of private colleges of the day, and which also included teaching Latin. Atkins saw to it that the academic standards went above those at Hampton and Tuskegee. Indeed, his holistic educational vision is best captured in his words. It is presented in certain catchy and specious phrases, such as the necessity of beginning at the bottom rather than at the top, the necessity of giving the colored American a kind of colored education, and of making his civilization earthbound and breadwinning rather than heaven-bound and soul-satisfying. Education is not a question of mechanics, it's a question of ethics and morality. Education is primarily an effort to realize in man his possibilities as a thinking and feeling being. It is this educational vision that continues to guide this great institution and provides the foundation for our future. 70 years after the founding of Slater Industrial Academy, the Winston-Salem Teachers College community installed its third president, Kenneth R. Williams, in November of 1962. The transformation of this institution from a normal school to the first African-American institution to dispense with normal school instruction in 1923, to the first African-American institution to grant degrees in elementary education in 1925, from Slater Industrial Academy to Slater Industrial and State Normal School to Winston-Salem State Teachers College is a testament of its evolution to meet the challenges of the day. On the occasion of this installation, President Williams underscores the transformative character of our institution when he addressed over 1,500 individuals gathered at Whitaker Gym, taking as his theme, Winston-Salem Teachers College meets the challenge of higher education. President Williams committed himself and our institution to restoring confidence in education and in a society during a moment of tremendous change. He stated, "Our total program is being enlarged in keeping with the needs of the time and our obligation to work with all people who are striving for the maximum development of every young American citizen." And in less than a decade, Winston-Salem Teachers College would transform to Winston-Salem State College and then to Winston-Salem State University, would move from offering 2 degrees in education and nursing to 28 degrees in the liberal arts, sciences, business, as well as education and nursing. The culture of transformation that marks our first 70 years and has endured during our 123 long existence is a unique strength of Winston-Salem State University. A report in 1967, almost 50 years ago, entitled Innovation in Higher Education, Developments, Research, and Priorities, raised at the time a critical question. One of the major concerns of higher education, will its future be determined by whatever happens, or will it be what we might call artfully revolutionized, changed by conscious decision, based on clear perception of the kind of world we live in and the kind of people we are? At Winston-Salem State University, the answer has been and continues to be one that affirms our distinctive culture of transformation in the light of changing times and circumstances. Indeed, we do not wait for others to overtake us. Rather, we chart the future for others to follow. The future does not belong to those who are content with today, apathetic towards common problems and their fellow man alike, timid and fearful in the face of new ideas and bold projects. Rather, it will belong to those who can blend vision, reason, courage, and a personal commitment to the ideals of this great enterprise, American society. Our future at WSSU rests clearly on a platform that includes an uncompromising commitment to equality, to equity, and to social justice. It was Robert Kennedy who said, "We must recognize the full equality of all of our people before God, before the law, and before the Council of Governments. We do this not because it is economically advantageous, although it is, not because of the laws of God commanded, although they do, not because of people in other lands wish it so. We must do it for the single and fundamental reason that it is the right thing to do." There are thousands of high-achieving students from low-income families who want to earn a college degree, but many find navigating the higher education landscape daunting. Many are derailed before they ever set foot on one of our campuses, tripped up by those complicated financial aid forms, or held back by the powerful tug of family obligation. Now here lies the rub. More than 40% of American students who start at four-year colleges earn a degree after 6 years, making the U.S. one of the worst in the world on this measure. Whether a student graduates or not seems to depend today entirely on one factor, and that's how much money his or her parents make. Only 25% of freshmen born in the bottom half of the income distribution will manage to earn a bachelor's degree by age 24, while almost 90% of freshmen born in the top quartile will go on to finish their degree. Now, this has absolutely nothing to do with ability. For those of you who like SAT, I'm not one of you, take all the students that scored 1,200 out of 1,600. If those students came from families in the top quartile, they have a 67% chance of graduating with a 4 degree. If they come from families in the bottom quartile, they have an 18% chance of making it to graduation. To reverse the academic achievement gap, we need to embrace a new model of higher education that ensures that a high-achieving, low-income student, in fact, every student, is prepared for a career, a job, a life in this ever-changing world that does not even exist yet. Winston-Salem State University was named one of the top universities in the nation for its contribution towards narrowing the economic gap in the United States, ranking 7th in the nation on the CollegeNet Social Mobility Index. WSSU is the highest ranked university in North Carolina. A total of 931 universities were ranked. The SMI evaluates colleges and universities based on admissions practices that work to reverse the growing economic disparity in the United States. WSSU scored high on all the variables considered in the rankings: number of low-income students admitted and graduated, low tuition cost, and high employment after graduation. According to the study, a high SMI ranking means that a college is contributing in a responsible way to solving the dangerous problem of economic mobility in our country. This is just one of the many points of pride for Winston-Salem State University. We are proud that we are the #1 in the UNC system for job placement for our graduates. And our graduates have the highest salary in the triad. We graduate more black students in the field of physical science and exercise science than any other school in the country, and we are 5th in the nation in graduating minority students in health sciences. Our alumni have had success in nearly every industry, from teaching to business, healthcare, and the arts. But most importantly, they live our motto: enter to learn, depart to serve. For too long, higher education has been segmented and divisive. The best education has been reserved for the fortunate among us. We believe here at WSSU that everyone deserves the best education. We now have to think differently about how we go about our jobs every day. At Winston-Salem State University, we are once again on a trajectory to transform higher education. Our goal is to give each and every student a unique, intensive academic and social experience. While we can't personalize every student's experience, we can transform ourselves so that every student experience feels personal. Our commitment to a liberal education means that we are providing an interdisciplinary, integrated, seamless educational experience that produces graduates who are critical thinkers, analytical problem solvers, effective communicators, innovators, and creative collaborators. These are the essential skills for our evolving and complex world. We're developing a new strategic plan that will transform our students' educational experience through structural and curriculum reform that will benefit all of our students, particularly high-achieving students from low-income families. We are enhancing our student advising culture to be more effective and meaningful have a more effective and meaningful partnership among faculty, staff, and students. As part of this strategic planning process, Winston-Salem State University is keeping equity-mindedness at the top of mind. As the strategic plan for the next 5 years is developed, WSSU will intentionally develop practices and programs that ensure the campus supports the success of all students. This will require us to be aware of and consider the challenges and obstacles facing low-income, first-generation students of color, and to craft policies, procedures, and programs that serve to better assist students while dealing with these challenges. We must examine the language that we use in our daily work, from syllabi to course catalog to advising materials, while being mindful of our students' background and experience. We must reform policies and practices to result in more equal outcomes. Winston-Salem State University is ready to define higher education. We loudly and boldly say that we are offering our students a transformative experience. And every day, we're designing the future of learning. We are engaged in that artful revolution, change by conscious design, and by being intentional in our approach to educating our students. While HBCUs educate just 9% of all Black college students, our relevance is not rooted in whom we educate, but how we educate. HBCUs like Winston-Salem State University offer our students something they can't find anywhere else. It is more than a classroom. It is more than student life and student organization. It is the entire experience that a student has once they step foot on our campus. The HBCU experience is a culture of caring, a culture that prepares students to contribute to their communities, a culture that cultivates within them the skills they need for careers, regardless of where life takes them. That experience transcends race. It transcends socioeconomic status. It is an experience that gives students the freedom to become what is possible, to see that shining star on a hill and reach for it, knowing that he has the tools needed to accomplish anything, to rise above whatever circumstances she faces, to be encumbered only by one's passion and drive. I invite my colleagues in higher education, business leaders, policymakers to re-examine their notion of relevance in higher education, to have a bold and audacious vision for the future, much like Simon Green Atkins, and to help us design the future of American higher education. Thank you so much.